Hey, welcome back to Better Than Yourself. Today on Better Than Yourself, mushrooms. I want to make some fermented mushrooms. I've been trying to figure out how to ferment these guys. I keep seeing them at the farmer's market. I love buying them and sauteing them or slicing them up, and thought, God, these would be delicious fermented. So I started doing some research and actually tried a couple of recipes for fermented mushrooms, and they don't ferment. There's no carbohydrates in them. There's no sugar in them. There's nothing for the lactobacters to eat to break down and create the lactic acid and soften the vegetables and make them into something that's kind of acidic and delicious. And they didn't work because there's just nothing. I've seen a couple recipes that you can mix them with celery and add things to them and get them to ferment, but they just came out horrible. They came out kind of slimy and mushy, and I want to eat marinated mushrooms is what I want. I want to make marinated mushrooms, and these, I cooked them for about 5 minutes, give them a quick parboil, and then soak them in some red wine vinegar and some red wine and some Italian herbs and some garlic, and these are delicious. Let's get into how to make these, and I think you'll be happy, and you don't need to worry about how to ferment mushrooms. We'll use our apple cider vinegar that we made, or maybe a little bit of our red wine vinegar from the red wine vinegar video, and use that vinegar soaked into these mushrooms, and that really makes something delicious. That, you see, and they're even kind of this sort of kind of rosy purpley color. And just the taste of all those Italian spices and garlic and that red wine vinegar really make, just bring out the mushroomness of these mushrooms. So what I want to do is basically, I'm just going to take the stems out of them. The stems are a little tough for this preparation, but you can easily just pop these out. And any of it, give your mushrooms a kind of a look over and see if there's anything too weird, if there's, if there's bugs, if there's, any signs of decay in your mushrooms, then, those are the ones that you're going to want. You want nice fresh mushrooms. You want to, when you look at your mushrooms, try to find mushrooms that, where these are portobellos. These are, kind of young portobellos, and they haven't quite opened yet. See how the kind of the cap closes right down and almost touches the stem? And you can tell these are nice and fresh. As mushrooms get too old, they'll sort of open up. The cap will become very open, like you'll see in a portobello, like you make your portobello burgers. But you look for some nice young, tender, younger mushrooms. Here's one where I took the stem out, and you can see it's completely closed. It hasn't exposed the gills yet. So grab this. I think this was just 2 market baskets full of mushrooms. Pop the stems out of them. If you can, if you have bigger ones, grab your knife and maybe just give it a slice in half, and make something a little bit smaller. So basically what I want to do with these mushrooms is just give them a quick rinse, get the growing medium off of them, and then we're going to throw them into some boiling water, and we'll give them a quick parboil for about 5 minutes, just to soften them up a little bit and get them ready to really receive that vinegar and that red wine taste. So now to wash your mushrooms, fill up a bowl with some warm water in the sink and just let your mushrooms soak. And, every once in a while give them a little stir so the floaters can get wet too. And then, grab a mushroom and then just kind of run your thumb over it and make sure that, these little extra bits of growing medium are coming off. So once your mushrooms have been soaking for a while and you've got the bulk of the schmutz off the mushrooms, add a little bit of salt to a pot of boiling water, and then just put the mushrooms right in the boiling water. And we'll cook these like this for probably about 5 minutes, really just to soften them up. But then one thing that it does is kind of opens up the mushroom cells so they're a little bit more receptive to the marinade. So we'll do this, and we'll cook our mushrooms for 5 or 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes, the mushrooms will soften up nicely, and you can just grab a slotted spoon or a perforated spoon and pull these. I mean, if you want, you can leave the stems in them, or I throw them in the freezer and I put them in my soup stock ingredients. But grab your Grab your now cooked mushrooms, pour off this mushroom broth. Maybe you can use this for soup if you want to. But from here, let's get these mushrooms into our marinade. Now, for the rest of the recipe, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, I want to do a kind of an Italian bent on my marinated mushrooms, so, do some parsley, a little bit of basil might be nice. I've got some fresh oregano, a little bit of thyme, some garlic if you want to put that in. And then I'll just do my cooked mushrooms here. And then as promised, we'll do our red wine vinegar. I'm gonna do about half and half, red wine vinegar and just red wine. If you want, if you want to use just, dried herbs, like an Italian herb mixture, that's fine. But essentially, this is done. I'm just gonna let this sit out for a day, a week, a month. This will be preserved. You've got that vinegar in there. You've got the red wine, the alcohol in the red wine will preserve it. And enjoy this. This is marinated mushrooms. Like I said, you really can't ferment these, but we can use our homemade vinegar to, make something delicious. And this is a nice use for your vinegar. So let me know how this comes out for you. Make sure you subscribe. Click the links below if you want to grab a t-shirt. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.